What's up, freaking losers? It's Drathel, and I'm back with yesterday's follow-up video. I'm going to be talking about the Elemental Mage deck, explaining to you exactly, going more in depth into the deck to guarantee you more success and stuff with it, imparting my wisdom to you guys. So first off, I'm going to talk about three main things you want while you're playing this deck. The first one is control of the board. Second one, you want to always be summoning elementals. And then the third is a full hand. Now I know some of you are very familiar with sitting at your computer keeping your hands full, but this deck allows you to do so in a much less messy and sometimes stinky way. Thanks to Arcane Intellect, Flame Geyser, and other cards in the deck which reward you with more cards, you can keep your hand full much longer than those hormonal teenagers. While they'll be desperate for the next draw, you'll have plenty to work with, ensuring your opponent has a very hard time getting anything on the board for more than one turn. Constantly being able to summon elementals is very helpful in this deck. There are as many elementals in this deck as there are STDs in your mom, so I'll always be placing them down as long as it's strategic and it's the way to go. This allows you to pretty much always be guaranteed to get the Battlecry bonus from Thunder Lizard and all the other similar cards, which is seriously a game changer. With this deck, you can easily take control of the board. You've got a million spells, you've got a million elementals that you can just constantly be playing because they're such low cost, especially whenever you get the Death Rattle from the one card that will just summon a random mage spell to your hand. I've gotten Blizzard from that, I've gotten Meteor from that. You can also just get like Frostbolt, Arcane Bolts, it doesn't matter. So don't be afraid to use all the millions of spells you have to punish your opponent, make sure they can't summon anything. When they do, you just immediately destroy it while you have a million things on your side of the field. So let's start out with some gameplay. First off, I've got the initial card drawing. We've got Arcane Missiles, we've got Frostbolt, and we've got Phoenix. I decided to get rid of Phoenix and Frostbolt because while Frostbolt is only 2 mana cost, it still doesn't get me really anything on the board, and I already had a low-cost spell, so I decided I was going to take a risk and see if I could get a low-cost elemental or other card that I can actually put down on the board. But it doesn't pay off, but it's still worth the gamble to do so. I end up getting Arcane Intellect and a 4-cost elemental. So as you can see, my opponent has summoned a 2/2 card onto the field, and I don't really have anything I can put down to combat against that. Luckily, I do draw a Flame Geyser, which lets me not only kill his card, but also get a 1-cost elemental into my hand, which I can summon next turn, so the following turn, any minions I have in my hand that have the Battlecry, which are actually the Lizard and the 4-cost one right there, those both will be able to utilize that 1-cost elemental that I'm putting down. This goes back to the always putting down elementals. Always try to put down as many elementals as you can. Not so much as many, but try and get at least 1 down each turn so that if you top deck a card or whatever, you can just throw it down. So it's my turn again, and I've got that 1-cost elemental in my hand. The opponent wasn't able to put anything down, and he ended up using his hero ability, which damaged himself. So now I'm able to throw down that 1-cost elemental, which will let me use the Battlecry later on, and I can cast my hero ability to further punish my enemy for not being able to put anything down. Alright, so on his turn he places a 3/3 card, and I'm looking through my hand, seeing what I can play. I see that I can play the Steam Surger, who has the Battlecry available, but I want to deal with that 3/3, so I end up throwing the Fireplume Phoenix out there, which has a Battlecry for dealing 2 damage, and then I can attack it with my elemental that's already on the field. This allows me to keep control of the field and take away his control. Now he's used a spell to summon 3 different cards onto the field, and I've only got 1. So I'm evaluating my options here. I do have a 3/3 on the field, so I want to kill his 3/3. And I also have a spell down in my hand, Arcane Missiles. I know that if I use my Phoenix to kill his 3/3, then there's a higher chance that all 3 missiles will hit the target that they need to. So I go ahead and suicide my Phoenix on his 3/3 so that my missiles will luckily, I do admit it's a little bit lucky, still in pretty good odds, but my missiles do end up killing his other 2 minions, putting us at a level playing field. Now I'll speed it up for this next little bit where I'm basically just going through, pay close attention to all the moves I'm making, the cards that I'm playing, and the cards that I'm not playing. You can pause the video and look at my thought process. I'm playing cards that will enable me to keep more cards on the field while making my opponent have less than me on the field, hopefully none. So pay attention to the spells that I'm playing, the cards that I'm playing, and basically just keep that in mind. I'm going to kind of speed it up here for a minute till we get to another noteworthy clip.
Never gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna say goodbye, no. Never gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna say goodbye, no. Never gonna give, never gonna give, never gonna give you up. Never gonna give, never gonna give. Never gonna give, never gonna give, never gonna give you up. Never gonna give, never gonna give.
Okay, so this clip is really interesting. I kind of sat there for a second and thought about my mana costs and stuff, but as you can see I had the 6/6 on the field. I didn't want to use it just to hit that 2/2, so I looked at my mana costs. I threw down the Lizard because I could adapt it, but then I saw that I had the Sorcerer's Apprentice and a Mana Worm, and a couple spells in my hand, Arcane Intellect and Flame Geyser. And since Sorcerer's Apprentice reduces mana cost by 1, and Mana Worm gains 1 attack per spell you throw out, those 2 cards have a really good synergy, so I like to throw both of those out at the same time if it's tactical or strategic. And in this moment, I figured it was, so I threw those out, which let me cast Arcane Intellect to get more cards in my hand, and Flame Geyser to kill his 2/2, and let my powerful 6/6 card phase attack him. Okay, I'm back to speeding it up for just a little bit. Pay attention to what's going on. I'm able to summon some good cards onto the field, but he does end up using a pretty nice combination of spells to clear my side of the field, but thanks to the death rattle from the battle cry on the Lizard, I do get to keep 2 1-attack minions on the board, which actually let me take out a 4/4 that he throws down, thanks to being able to combo that attack with a Frostbolt. So always keep in mind the spells you have in your hand with this, because they will help you come clutch. I do get to throw a few more things down, but unfortunately, you'll see what happens next. So he's thrown down a million cards on his side of the field, one of them being an 8/8. I've got just 3 pretty low attack cards on my side of the field, 2 of them being death rattles. So I'm just trying to figure out what my best plan of attack is here. I notice I have a fireball in my hand, I've got a glacial shard in my hand, I've got my hero ability, and I've got 3 things on the board. So I calculated out, and if I can hit him with everything I've got, he'd only have 1 HP left. And I know he does have an 8/8. I still am not too familiar with Warlock decks. I don't know if they have things that can boost attack or anything. So I decided to throw down my Glacial Shard and freeze his 8/8 so that he can't just somehow burst down my hero before I can take the win. But luckily I have enough mana to throw down that cheap 1 mana Glacial Shard, which gives nice crowd control. So I bring him down to 1 HP. His 8/8 can't attack this turn, and all he's got is a few weak minions. And in my next turn, all it takes is my hero ability to finish him off. But I do end up drawing a Flame Geyser just in case he has something to counter. So, yeah, you see what happens. I take him out, win the match. That's about it, guys. I hope you guys found this informative. This is really my first guide for Hearthstone. I'm still learning the game. But this is an awesome deck, and I wanted to share my wisdom with it with you guys. So I hope you guys find success with it. I'm actually really loving this deck. So, yeah, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll be around for a while.